Welcome to In Focus with Eden Lane.
Hi, I'm Eden Lane. Thanks for joining us for In Focus. This week we're in Littleton at the Town Hall Arts Center, but not for a performance. This time we're going to meet the board of directors of the Denver Actors Fund to find out about the work they're doing, the people they've been able to help, and what's next for this brand new organization here in Colorado. The Denver Actors Fund is approaching its first anniversary and has already distributed funds to members of the theater community and established action teams. Well, what a great place to have our little chat about the Denver Actors Fund right here at Town Hall Arts Center in Littleton, right? This is Littleton? I don't get down here as often as I'd like to, but it's really wonderful for them to let us use this space. And I appreciate you taking time on Saturday morning to come and share the great work that the Denver Actors Fund is doing and the explosive growth you've just had. John, you started this a little bit more than a year ago, right? Was it a little bit?
Our first anniversary will be June 1st.
June 1st. So you had not even a full year yet. Just refresh everyone about what was the impetus for even dreaming up the Denver Actors Fund.
Well, the local theater community has always responded when any of its members have been in need. And last year there were several teaching artists from the Town Hall Arts Center itself, among them Shelley Bordas and Robert Michael Sanders, who found themselves in very difficult medical situations. And what we decided as a group to do is to form the Denver Actors Fund so that we would be organized and ready to go and help take all of the goodwill that people have and turn it into action.
It's not to replace all those individual kinds of efforts that casts and companies and members of the community do, but it's really to sort of give it a foundation, it seems.
Yeah, and a structure and a process so that we can respond quickly to any requests.
So how did the rest of you get involved in this absolutely crazy, beautiful, wonderful idea of the Denver Actors Fund? How did you become involved in this?
I believe I got something on Facebook about that first fundraiser that they were having, and I was like, I have a newfound passion for theater within the last few years, and I was like, oh, this would be a great way for me to maybe volunteer, so I went and...
So you have to tell me how you found a new passion for theater in the last few years.
I just had some friends that started going to shows, and I never used to enjoy them, and I just suddenly started enjoying them.
So you're not a member of the theater community, you're a member of the audience that supports
I started with Magic Moments that year. My son was in it and talked me into getting in it, I guess, and that's probably what really brought me into the theater, and I did a show with him, and I loved it, so
yeah.
It was a fabulous community to just kind of stumble across.
It has a way of doing that to people, doesn't it? How did you become involved?
You know, I've been involved in the nonprofit community for a long time. I am a vice president of another nonprofit, and mostly in the fundraising area. And so also being an actor and having done shows here at Town Hall Arts Center, a lot of the people in the acting community that I worked with, I would help them if they needed medical care. I'd send them to a local clinic that I knew that took people without insurance. If they needed food that was being delivered, I'd send them to Project Angel Heart. And I was kind of that hub for that group. And when I heard what John did, and knowing Chris really well, we had done a show together, I just decided that it was something I want to be involved in. So I actually called them and said, you know, I said, I think I might be able to help you guys connect in any way, and then also maybe bring a little bit of structure, I guess, to the fundraising piece of it.
That really helps, especially in such a vital organization that's really in its infancy. They really need that help, and you straddle both worlds. You're kind of in the theater.
Well, and I'm also, I think what I help with as far as the strategy part of it is it's such a competitive world and nonprofit right now for funds, and you know, everybody, it's just really difficult, and so for a new organization, it also gave the opportunity, I think, for us to do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know, for us to get in there and do it the right way. And John and Chris and the rest of the gang have been doing such good work in putting that together. You know, when you have little fundraisers that you're doing, whether it be a karaoke night or whatever, and you're raising that kind of money, it really is impressive. And I said, gosh, just think what we could do if we put a little bit more thought behind it. So,
Sarah, you're familiar to us from the symphony, but you got involved in this also pretty early on. How did that happen for you?
I did. Well, with my work with Family Theater Company, I'm also on their board of directors, and that what John was putting together just fit together so well with what Family does, and sort of fulfills that other component of what we're doing with Family, that after I went to the first fundraiser, I pretty much emailed and hounded John and said, you really need me and I really need you, so please.
That's so
let's be on
unlike
board."
you, Sarah.
seems like a common theme. We have to ask him. So.
And you, Chris, you're an actor, we know that, but you didn't just start to participate in Denver Actors Fund. You've taken on like the craziest role of them all. So tell me about that.
Well, I don't know if it's really that crazy, but I
Trust
definitely
me, it's new for you, but it is that crazy.
it's the designated paperwork filler outer.
That's right.
That's my role. But gosh, I don't know. I think my experience coming to the organization has been shared with me from a lot of other people too, that I think when John kind of went public with his idea to start the organization, I think there were a lot of people who, you know, sitting at their computers kind of thought, oh, I thought about that for a long time. Because
they
we've
didn't do
seen
it.
sort of the reactionary kind of response to various medical emergencies that come up throughout the years. So I think a lot of people kind of went, oh, well, that's logical. This is something that I wanted to be a part of, something that was interesting to me, and we just never kind of really got it moving. But when I saw John get on board, I mean, I think there's not really anybody that I know that can rally members of the theater community any better than him. So it was kind of a no-brainer to jump in and do what we could do to get it started.
So since we're closing in on our 1-year anniversary of the Denver Actors Fund, where are we now? What's the state of the Denver Actors Fund?
Well, I can tell you that just in the first year, we've created a board of directors. We've
No small feat.
no small feat.
Even if that's all you did.
We've raised about $14,000 in seed money so far. We've helped 5 members of the community with financial grants, and now a whole lot more with the activation of our action teams, which are what I call my army of angels of volunteers who provide good neighborly services to people who just need some help in times of crisis. And so that can mean like meal preparation and delivery. It can mean transportation to and from medical appointments. It can mean childcare or pet care, or whatever that person needs. And all of this is, when I think about the fact that we've done all of this in less than a year, I think I'm pretty grateful to these people in this room.
Yeah, and I've attended, I think, every one of your events, and they keep getting larger, but they keep getting more heartfelt, if that makes any sense. Not because of what's happening at your events, but because of how the people are reacting and how they're participating. So tell me about the kinds of events you've done already, and then we'll get into what's coming up tonight.
Well, we've done a few different kinds of fundraising events. We did a karaoke.
FUN.
That's right.
Raising events.
Well, it's an important distinction because I think that's really so. One of the things that we've been working on with Paul and the other board members too is this understanding that we want to continue to build the resources of the fund, obviously, but I think it's important for us to figure out how to raise funds without necessarily always tapping into the actors and the stagehands and the people who are also benefiting from the fund. So we're trying to sort of figure out that balance, and part of the balance is when we do fundraisers to really put an emphasis on the community aspect of the experience as opposed to the trying to raise as much money as possible in a specific gap.
Involving people who would never think of accessing the services of the Denver Actors Fund, but who truly do benefit from having the actors do their work.
Those people on the other side of the footlights. I mean, that's what John mentioned to me when we first started, and I talked about becoming on the board. We have to get those people involved, and I think they want to. You know, I mean, they come to the theater, they get to see these great performances, they'll get to see Chris next week, and they're going to want to help people like that.
They do want to help. even if they don't necessarily have a lot of money, there's a lot of things that they can do. That action team concept that you've put in place is brilliant, just for that very reason, if nothing else. Tell me who is sort of stepping up and joining those action teams? Is it actors? Is it?
It's a wide swath of people from within the community. We have a volunteer coordinator named Shannon McAndrews, and what she's done is put together these teams. Each one has a team leader, and it's really not that different from back in when we had neighborhoods in the 50s and 60s when somebody had
Where
a
you
baby
knew
or
your
somebody-
neighbors, maybe?
Yeah. And when somebody needed help, you just went outside and it was everybody on your block. Well, our block is much bigger and we're much more separated. So the key is organization. So what our situation is say somebody goes into a hospital or somebody has a family member pass away or something. If somebody contacts us and says, this person could use a meal, all we have to, it's like a telephone tree. We just contact the team leader finds who's nearest that person in their neighborhood, and boom, they have food or supplies or groceries or whatever it is that they need on their door. And I think it's really just about being good neighbors.
And that just really helps your organization not just build the fun that you were talking about, but really build the relationships within the community and within the members of our larger community that really avail themselves of the work these great people are doing. Are you reaching out to businesses to participate in any way yet, or are you not at that stage yet?
Well, one way that we've begun to reach out to businesses is to reach out to the individual theater companies throughout the area. So we have something called our Tap Shoe Initiative, which is sort of like a grassroots way of raising awareness about the foundation and also engaging theater companies in the community to help support the professionals that are putting on the shows at night after night. So,
and that's not just backstage for the actors to continue to support, that's out front so that the audience.
That's right. So we've invited each company to make a tap shoe of their own design. So we've had some that are more traditionally tap shoes than others, but that's part of the fun is to see the creative angle that everybody takes in making their shoe. And we invite people to put that shoe out in the lobby so that patrons, as they're coming by, can sort of begin to interact with the foundation just in a really simple way. Throw your spare change in the shoe, and it adds up when you consider how many theater companies in the metro area.
We have about 60 theater companies in the metro area, but this was another example of an idea that Chris had about the tap shoes, where it's really sort of the Jerry Lewis muscular dystrophy telethon sort of concepts. Chris just said, let's get every theater company to get a signature shoe and designate one night as Denver Actors Fund, and it really is just throwing change in a boot. And essentially, it's been up and running for about 3 or 4 months now, and it's already raised more than $1,000. So it's all in line with our idea of very much just grassroots, building it slow, helping people along the way. And then we have people like Paul, who really are big visionaries, and Paul is really mentoring Chris into taking us to the next level. Because as Chris said, we don't want the people we help to feel like they're our only source of revenues. And Paul's allowed us to see a bigger picture that says there's money out there for people like you, and he's helping us to find it.
So what's the next step for that vision that John was referring to?
I think part of what we've got to do is along with getting the theater companies involved, getting those patrons that come to the theater that are involved. They need to be involved. And again, I think they want to. I'm one of those people who go to theater all the time, and if I knew that the person who's playing the third chorus person on the right is really having a hard time and maybe needing to meet their minimum so they can get into their health care program, whatever, I want to help them. So there's also the piece of when you're mentioning corporate responsibility. I think this is a perfect way to corporations to get involved, especially when you consider, I think of Rhonda and some of the others who work for large corporations that, their entire group comes and sees her in shows and everything. I think they really have a desire to do that. And then, of course, there's the gift in kind piece of it, which, some of these organizations can help us, some of these corporations can help us in many different areas as far as, whether it be publicity or other workings that they can do, and they get to help out with that. So
And you're a 501c3 organization already.
Thanks to Chris.
Officially.
Officially.
Yes.
And
So we should be careful how we classify that for the purposes of the interview.
Now the lawyer gets to speak.
This is Attorney Chris now.
So,
about nuance,
our
right?
501c3 status is pending with the IRS right now. So we're a nonprofit in good standing as far as the Colorado Secretary of State is concerned. We've filed all of our necessarily applications with the IRS, but we're not an official 501c3.
Not yet.
Disclaimer.
Sorry, did the lawyer ask?
But that's important because what that illustrates is there's not just heart and passion here with the Denver Actors Fund and the structure that you've built, but there really is that formal foundation of how it will work legally and fiscally with all of you so that it will do more than just provide tiny bits of support without real organization. Yeah. I'm so thrilled that this has grown so quickly in just 1 year so that we can share part of your story. And I know you're having a special event tonight that as this airs will have already occurred, but you have another one coming up later. So we're going to join you for a cabaret evening at the Black Crown, right? Is that where you're at tonight?
That's right.
So tell me about what else is coming up later in the summer, since that will have already occurred when they see this.
Well, we have additional nights coming up at the Voodoo Comedy Playhouse, and
Which is where you started your...
where we started on June 1st of last year. But there will be Tap Shoe Initiative nights going on at theater companies all over the summer. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we find out what the designated nights are and get them on our website so that when people say, choose which night are they going to go see The Music Man starring Chris Brooks at the Town Hall Arts Center, they might want to come on Denver Actors Fund night because they might be able to help us and see good theater at the same time.
That
And
was
of course
so
you have
organic the way he felt.
I know, isn't it?
Plug that in. That was really great.
And you have a full-on webpage now, not just your Facebook page, so that they can always look there for more information. I can't wait to reconvene with you tonight for your celebration fundraiser at the Black Crown. I really appreciate you giving me your Saturday morning.
Thank you so much.
So now we're at the Black Crown. It's on Broadway. In the daytime, it's a typical antique store, but at night it's so much more. It's also a lounge and piano bar, and this is where the Denver Actors Fund is holding their event tonight. Not just to raise funds, raise awareness, and have a good time. So let's go in and see the community get together and raise funds for the Denver Actors Fund. We start out with the Black Crown Lounge General Manager Mark Cameron to learn more about this unique night spot. Tell me a little bit about how this really one-of-a-kind place even got started, the Black Crown Lounge.
Well, thank you. We're glad to host the Actors Guild tonight. We've been in business almost 3 years, and it was kind of a creation with a couple of business partners between my retail background and one of their piano lounge background with a dream that I had always had of having a piano lounge.
So it really is an antique store in the daytime and a lounge at night.
Actually, anytime you're here and we're open, everything's for sale. All of our accessories, our decorative items, wall art, and all that type of thing is available.
So not just in the daytime.
Nope. Anytime we're open, we can put that on your tab.
That's a great idea. When I met with the pianist Dan Dobbins, I began with what inspired him to set aside this evening as a benefit for the Denver Actors Fund.
I think it's all deep internal. I've been in Denver for years, and I started at Heritage Square back in 1976. And just my whole life has been with the Denver theater community. I say my whole life, but most of it. And I just know that there's such a deep, deep love between all the theater people. And that's one thing that I've enjoyed about theater community, is when they do love each other and care about each other, they go full force. And this is my chance to show that appreciation, not only for the fund, what it's doing, but appreciation for all my friends that I've had in my life that really mean a lot to me.
And many of these folks that are coming here to sing with you tonight sing with you all the time. But
yes, some of them. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, and it's a treasure. It's a gift that not me as a performer, but that they come and their friendship is right there next to me, and it's all sincere, and it's all true, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
So as the Denver Actors Fund is growing up so quickly over just the first year, what do you, as a member of the theater community here, because you're a musician and an actor, what is it that this kind of thing means to you that this grew out of your own community?
I think it comes from internally. I retired about a year ago, and I told myself I retired a little earlier than I thought, and I wanted to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds corny, but I know the rest of my life. I have 2 daughters, and they've taught me so much about how to be a good human being. And part of that is to walk the talk and make sure that I do whatever I can. And it's not only just for the Denver Actors Fund, but for things that affected me in my life with some family members with cancer. You run, do all kinds of things. It hits you, and you just got to make that difference. You have to make something that will stay, basically throughout. And I think there was a phrase I heard, actually Barbara Streisand, I saw her a couple of years ago, it was great. And she made a point that she sang a song called Make the Garden Grow.
Oh.
And it's basically, the point of it is that if I plant something now, I might not ever see that tree give shade to somebody or whatever, but I've planted it. I've started the seed. And I thought, wow, what a great start for me in my retirement, just to go forward and just walk the talk.
That's
so
lovely.
anyway, I know this sounds corny, but that's really...
No, it's lovely.
So-
And I appreciate you letting us come into your party tonight and celebrate with all of you and help you raise money for the Denver Actors Fund.
It is
Thank
wonderful.
you so much.
Thank you for being here. Wow, what a treat. What a great... Really. Thank you so much.
So we were able to feature your story a little bit on one of our episodes when we talked about the very first check that was given away by the Denver Actors Fund. And since we're here tonight, I wanted to just give you a chance to tell a little bit about what that was like for you and finding a resource like the Denver Actors Fund is.
It was brilliant. John Moore reached out to me. What happened? I was run over by a car as a pedestrian in a crosswalk, and I mean, there was a lot of shock and trauma involved because that had never happened to me before, and I never get hurt. So being laid up and knowing that I was injured, there was a lot of questions like, how am I going to pay for all the, because the bills started coming in immediately, prescriptions and all the stuff you need just to get home. And so John Moore, saw it on Facebook, and he was like, hey, you're a perfect candidate for the Denver Actors Fund. And I had heard about them starting this fund, but he was like, we're legit now. Can we help you? And I was like, help me? Like, what is this? So that's kind of how it started. And he's, he said, you're a shoo-in, do the paperwork, and we would like, what do you need help with? And I was like, well, my rent, I immediately missed a few days of work, and me missing work means missing paycheck. So he was...
And you're not talking about missing performances in the theater, you're talking about your day job.
My day job. And I miraculously didn't miss any performances. It was in the middle of the run for Seafair. Luckily, I got run over on a Monday, so I was on my feet by Friday, and I was a little medicated for the performances, but we got through it, and I hope,
You were able to finish.
I was able to finish. We did the run, no shows were interrupted, but it was very challenging. I mean, you always want to put on a game face and put on your best face, and it's really hard when you hurt. It's really hard when you hurt.
When that assistance was available and John told you about the Denver Actors Funds, clearly that motivated you to start participating because you come to these events. Tell me as an actor, what does it feel like to know that you are all creating this together as a community?
It is, in the best way possible, overwhelming. The amount of love and the sense of community that we have in Denver among the actors, and it's people like you, people like John Moore, Kirk Montgomery, all of the directors, all the theaters. I mean, it is really a beautiful, beautiful community. So knowing that I was down and having the community reach out to me like that, it breaks your heart in a really good way. Like, I didn't realize I was that loved as a person. I mean, you always know people like you, but to feel that genuine sense of love, and we want you to get better, and we want you to be great, and we want to support you is awesome. It's so empowering, and it's so positive, and it gives you that energy and the impetus to give back and to participate. And not only that, but like, love everybody and help. You never know who's having a bad day, and a little bit of love can make a person's bad day change their entire life. It really magnified the power of love to me, and that's the only thing I feel in the Denver acting community.
That's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before the evening ended, 2 cast members from the national tour of Once came down to raise their voices for the Denver Actors Fund. once, but you came down to support the local actors for the Denver Actors Fund. That was really wonderful. How did you decide to do that after such a long night of singing already?
We have amazing company management with our show, and they're always trying to get involved with the locals. And so he mentioned that this was happening, and of course we wanted to come and support. Yeah, so it's always a nice way to get involved in the communities too while we're out on the road.
You were sweet enough to sing 2 songs for us tonight here at the Denver Actors Fund benefit. You sang a standard, and then you sang a selection from the show. How did you choose what to sing tonight?
Actually, so my dad's a jazz singer, and every time I go home, I get to sing with his amazing band. And My Funny Valentine is sort of something I always do with them, which is sort of nostalgic. And then our company manager asked if I would play The Hill, which is I'm a cover for Girl in the show, and that's kind of her reveal into her personal life.
Yeah, that's a really perfect way to say that.
Yeah. You don't see much of that in the show, and that's sort of the moment where the audience is kind of let into her inner turmoil. So it was his request. I mean, it was great. I love doing that in public. I hardly ever get the chance, so it was lovely.
It was lovely to meet you, and
You
I'm
as
so
well.
delighted that you both came down from after just doing your performance
Yes.
tonight to come and lend your support for the Denver Actors Fund.
The Actors Fund is unbelievably important. It's an organization that I care deeply about. About 2 years ago in New York, before I got this wonderful opportunity to do Once, I needed the Actors Fund to help me pay my rent 1 month. So I always do the Actors Fund performances. I always try to help out wherever I can. It's nice to come to these things and do stuff like this, like traditional musical theater. I'm very passionate about the American musical theater. It's what I've dedicated. Well, no, I've dedicated my life to it, and I'm very passionate about this art form, and I think that it's very special, and it moves people, and it changes minds, and it changes the world, and it's uniquely American, and it's like I said, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and this is what I've been dedicated to my whole life, and it's nice to be able to come and sing something as silly as Defying Gravity for a guy at a piano bar in Denver, Colorado, because this is the thing I fell in love with when I was a kid.
It was really special to see your company bring Once to our stages. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks a lot.
You can find more information about the Denver Actors Fund, including their success stories and profiles of their board members, online at denveractorsfund.org. The website includes information about past and future events and special gear to show your support.
Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Good night.